chilly Monday out there today. This is actually starting our fourth week of online school. Hard to believe that. So let's get right into it. Today, let's talk about the brain structure from Friday. If you remember, I was asking about there's a significant sporting event that was affected by an earthquake. Well, the answer is in 1989, it was the World Series, so that's baseball, and it involved the San Francisco Giants and the Oakland Athletics. And so what made this kind of significant, first of all, it was captured live on TV, and the teams were warming up on the field, and they were just doing, the pregame kind of because they were getting ready to start Game 3, so the announcers were kind of reflecting back what happened in Game 1 and 2, and you'll see it here in just a minute. I'll pull it up. And so what made it even more significant, though, was both teams, the earthquake hit right there, and San Francisco and Oakland are only a few miles apart. And so, whereas had it been San Francisco and the New York Yankees, they could have just moved the games to the New York Yankees stadium. But since both stadiums were right there and both, received some damage because it was a large earthquake, then it postponed that World Series in the middle of it for a couple of weeks while they, had to make any repairs or just make sure everything was safe. So that was the brain structure, which is going to lead into today's assignment. First, let me go ahead and take you back in time to that fall day in 1989.
You don't often think of key plays in a 5-1 ball game, but let's go back to the top of the third inning. Will Clark, the batter. The Giants have not had the lead in these two games. A 3-2 count, a split finger fastball by Mike Moore, pounced on by Terry Steinbach, the Oakland catcher. But look at the tough throw that he had to complete the play with Brett Butler running between him and Clark. Flash forward to the bottom of the fourth inning. Dave Parker, barely by inches, just misses a home run. Candy Maldonado with the hesitation, allowing Jose Canseco to score, and he fails to get Dave Parker at second base. So the Oakland A's take.
I'll tell you what, we're having an earth. I don't know if we're on the air. We are in commercial, I guess. Yes, we hear you. I guess I don't hear a thing. I guess Dave Parker. Well, I don't know if we're on the air or not, and I'm not sure I care at this particular moment, but we are. Well, folks, that's the greatest open in the history of television, bar none. Yes, it certainly did. We're still here. We are still, as we can tell, on the air, and I guess you are hearing us, even though we have no picture and no return audio, and we will be back, we hope, from San Francisco.
So that's how I just graduated high school, I guess, because I graduated in May of 89, so I was a college freshman, so we saw that event, just live as it happened, and so that's when I certainly remember. Let's see, a very well-known volcano, Mount St. Helens, if you've heard of that. That was another one when I was around your age. That was in 1980, so I was a little younger than you are right now. I was about 9, but I can certainly remember that one quite vividly. And so here, let's go to the hillbilly screenshot, because I've got a PowerPoint on the laptop, so give me 1 second. Okay, so to the hillbilly screen recording. Oh, will someone grab the lights, please? Thank you. All right. So our Earth, the crust, the outer part of the Earth that we're all standing on. So it is divided up into a bunch of different plates, and it's like if you take a hard-boiled egg, since we're following Easter, and you know how you just kind of smash it up to then break off the little pieces of the eggshell. Well, if the eggshell is the crust, then all of these little pieces or plates are kind of like that egg that you start cracking up the shell on in order to peel it off. And so that's how the Earth is made up, or the crust is. So let's see, here's about where San Francisco would be. Now you'll notice there's a big fault line right there, because here's the Pacific plate, here's the North American plate. This is the one we're on. And so those two plates, the Pacific plate is going that way a few inches a year. The North American plate's going this way a few inches a year. So that's why they get so many earthquakes there, because they're sitting right on that boundary between those two plates. Now, volcanoes then also occur largely around those plate boundaries, because they are just cracks in the earth crust. So you're going to have a lot of volcanoes in addition to earthquakes. This is Mount St. Helens. It is in Washington State, and once again, that's along this fault line as well. And this one was in 1980. So I was a little younger than you. I was probably about 9. But that's what it looked like before the eruption in 1980. And then here's what it would look like today. Today, because this eruption actually blew like the top third of this mountain clean off. And so this was a biggie. And there's a picture of it on that day in, I think it was May 18th, 1980. And for several years, it would have like secondary little eruptions, and they were monitoring it they still are monitoring it. But yeah, so anyways, for years and years would have, times where it's like hissing and steaming and all that. And here it is right there. That's where the volcano is. And we have our jet stream, so the winds in this part of the world go from west to east. So you can see, and this one didn't have any lavas. I forget the name of it, but it spewed out ash tremendously. And so all that ash went eastward. And this map is only of the United States. Canada, which would be up here, would have a lot of this ash too. And it was kind of falling just like snow. So these areas of red, they would get 2 to 5 inches of ash. The yellow or orange would get 1.5 to 2 inches. The yellow would get just trace amounts to a 1/2 inch. Now, where I was growing up was right there. And you can see just the way the winds are. So kind of skipped these people, but then just right here in northeast Oklahoma and just a little bit to where I lived in southwest Missouri, we would get just trace amounts of ash. And so we would lay a sheet out in the yard, and you would see little flecks of ash then on that white sheet after you left it out for a little bit. So there's a earthquake that I remember significantly from my youth, and then a volcano from my youth. So your next assignment is you're going to just pick one volcano or one earthquake and go in a little more detail. On the Inside Earth project, if you did option B for earthquakes or option C on volcanoes, you had to just list like 3 significant volcanoes or 3 significant earthquakes. Well, now you're going to go into depth and detail on one, and just one. So either a volcano, an earthquake, either one, your choice. And give us a little history lesson on it, a little background information. Maybe you have, throw in some pictures or some clips of things. Talk about the damage that was done, or why was it significant. Maybe it was like the most highest magnitude earthquake ever recorded, or maybe it occurred somewhere where there was more damage from it. For instance, I think the most deaths ever from a earthquake was in China, Well, that just kind of makes sense because, well, you've got a lot of people in China, so an earthquake there would probably do more damage than one in Antarctica, where it just shakes up a few penguins. So that's your task. And yeah, it looks like the weather's going to be a little snotty today and probably tomorrow, so it might be a good day to go ahead and get a head start on this. As always, don't really care how you do it. Keynote would be good. iMovies, anything you want, your choice. And if you have any questions, please shoot me an email. And then just keep staying home and staying safe, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
People just don't care. I got one roll of toilet paper and I'm down to my last square. Stay home. Stay home. No reason in the world for you to roam. We're all in this together. No, friend, you ain't alone. All you gotta do is stay